All right, class, we're going to make the Notan design today, and just a few tips. This is the end result. Just a few tips to remind you. You need to, whatever you cut into the black gets flipped over and glued on the white. And you need to be able to go on all four sides. Multiple things look the best. So here you see I have two things on this side and two things on this side. Three things here and two on this side. It makes it more interesting when you have big with small. And even though this was a big building shape, I cut into it and made it more interesting. The more that you cut in to get the positive and negative, or the black and white, makes it really interesting. So this is my example of things about me that I really love to do. Here's another student work. Different example. This was a trip she went on, so she wanted to capture what it was like, the palm trees, the water, the beautiful, it's got a little bit of clouds, but the sun, and the date, and the birds coming off. The only thing I think that she could have added, but you want to balance the blacks and the white, is maybe a few birds down here. Some solid black looks really good, but for the most part it was a really well designed where she had multiple things on each side, and it creates a lot of graphic. So as a reminder, how do you get started? Well, we start with the black piece of paper. It is going to go on the white, but we're going to start with the black first. This is a 6 by 6 and this is a 12 by 12. So you have to get your design, whatever you think of needs to go on this black paper. Now, I did tell you yesterday, but you can look up some examples, and I did look up some Star Wars, just because I'm making this for someone else and they really like Star Wars and I'm not familiar, so I had to look up some of these images. I could do a whole theme on Star Wars, but that's a little too much for me, but there's a lot of the blacks and the whites and the positives and negatives, but you can look in Notan design to look up some ideas, or you can just do just a random pattern. I called it organic shapes yesterday, but all you're gonna do here, I can just do some random shapes, kind of like fire, but you want to keep in mind that you want to change the levels because that makes it interesting, and each side should be a little bit different, but you want two on each side coming in and out. And here I'll just go over here. Okay, but this in itself, yes, it covers the sides, but it's kind of not that interesting. It's a little bit boring right now. But you can cut into the big shape with multiple shapes. That'll create a really cool design. So you can keep it still the same shape, but just multiply it and make it smaller as the progression comes on. Okay, I have one more over here. This definitely will give me a pop of black and white. And then this middle is still kind of solid. I would probably put some shapes in there. I love my circles and polka dots. I don't know why, but they also remind me of bubbles. So I'll just do that. Okay, I'm not that invested in this design because I'm just doing it as a demo. I think it's still going to be really cool. Here's the one that I started yesterday with you, but I just wanted you to have a little bit of a review. So you can see now that I have two sides. All of them are in the sides, and then I came in the middle. And here you can see that I put in some of these little ones. The smaller you go, the harder it's going to be to cut. So I'm actually going to cut around them and make it bigger, but I just want to know that's where I want those circles. Okay, so this is kind of an organic one, but like I said, I am doing a Notan design for a friend. So here is one that I put my hand down so you can see it. So I have two designs. They like Star Wars, so I took the symbol off of here. Forgot even what it is right here. Here you can see. Okay, And they also like to play pool, so I did an 8-ball. That's going to work well because 8-ball is black and white. It's a little hard to see my pencil drawing off of this. But once you have it drawn is when you start to cut. You can see I already cut a few things because I want this to go faster, but I'm going to change the light here so you can see it a little better. Bear with me, kiddos. This is my first video. Oh, there we go. Okay, so because I want this part to be black right here, if I just cut it, okay, I'll take this one out so that you can see it. All right, so here you can see I cut that one out, and that's going to flip this way. Okay. I don't want to lose it, so I'm keeping all my pieces. After I cut them, just keep them in the spot so you don't lose them. All right, so I'm going to start this. This is going to be a whole black chunk, so I don't have to worry about it too much. So keep your fingers out of the way as you cut. And when you're doing circles, you kind of have to go slow. Just creep your fingers up by it. You also can start different directions, but you have to be patient. Probably hard to see in the video because my fingers are in the way, but you want your fingers, you don't want your hand down here and cutting up here because then you don't have as much control. So keep your fingers by the blade, not too close, but enough that you can hold the tension of the paper. And you just need to go slow and change directions. Alright, so now you can see that it's cut. If you pick it up and you see that it's still hanging on, you just got to go back and recut it. So if I left it like that, that would just be a circle, but we don't want that. We want some of this design here. So because I want this black, I know I'm going to cut out this, and then I need to cut out this inside because I want that to be white. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, it's now going to start to get really tricky because now I have some small places to cut. So just be patient and take your time. I'm actually going to cut this inside out first. I'll hold it up so you can see better. I'm going to cut this inside out because then I have all of this to hang on to. If I cut this and then this, all I have is this little space to hold on to, and it's a lot harder. So I'm going to cut these out first, and then I'll cut it off of this. All right, so now I'm done. That was tricky. Okay, so now I'm going to show you on the white what it's going to look like. Okay, well, tomorrow all you're going to have time to do is to draw the design, get your ideas. You're going to get your ideas. You're going to draw your design and make sure that you are getting all 4 sides, 4 edges with something on it. Could be organic or it could be an actual image or symbols. Then you're going to start to cut, but you won't get to where I'm going to show you. I want to see what it looks like, and so I'm just going to show you to how far it's come. So what you do is you just flip. So if this is where I cut it, this is where I'm going to flip it. Looks like I need my room here. All right. Then I want to make sure this is in the right spot, so that's there. This would be here. And then the 8 would be here. And then my dots. Would be here. Okay, then I'll flip this. So there's no gluing right away. You just want to see where everything is lined up. That looks good. Ooh, that's looking really good. Okay, and then all these little pieces would go out. I moved them a little too much. You want to try to keep them in the spot so you know where they are before you start flipping them. But it's pretty easy to put them back. It's like a puzzle. Alright, so I'm going to start with these down here because they're the easiest for me to see. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so you can start to see it forming. It is a little, these smaller pieces are a little bit of a bugger to line up, but it'll be worth it in the end. This other side, I'll just do that really quick so that you can see it. snuck in there. I forgot to cut that one. All right, I have one that is MIA, so I have to figure out, oh, there it is. Oh, sometimes lining them up, keep track of these little guys are tough, but it's worth it. All right, so there it is. It got kind of long, but here you can see.
Good afternoon, Lincoln High School staff. The buses are all in. You're clear to go. Drive safe to your destination and have a good evening. See you tomorrow.
All right. Here's the last one. Looks like I forgot to cut. So I'll just cut that quick. And there, once it's glued, that's what it's going to look like in the end. But in regards to tomorrow, again, you're going to find your ideas, think of what you want to do. It could be all one theme. It could tell a story, like mine tells a story about things that I love to do. Or it could be a trip that you did, a story about a trip that you wanted to do. But once you get your idea, then you need to map it out on your paper, then start cutting. When you cut, you need to remember to be patient and to keep your fingers sort of close but not too close. They need to be close enough to hold the paper, and just go in little segments. Especially curves are kind of the harder ones to do, so just do in little bits. Don't have your hand way far away. It's really hard to have control, so keep the hands a little closer. And before you take the whole piece off, make sure you get all the little bits out first. Okay? Now, you're not going to have time to probably finish cutting everything. Most of you won't, some of you will. So in the end, what you're going to do is you're going to make a folder of all your pieces. So if you've just cut and they're still on, that's not a big deal. You can just put it in your drawer. But all of your little pieces, you're going to want to put back in this folder. So here I'm going to fold it first. And I'm going to fold my sides. I'm going to open it back up. And now where that crease is, I'm just going to stick everything in there. All my big pieces. And then all of my little pieces. And close it up. Okay, so hopefully we get all this done. I'll be back pretty quick, but there we go. When you're all done, all of the razors go back in this box, and we're good to go.